The topic for today is image compression models. So what you can see over here is a basic compression, how basic compression and decompression is done. Okay, so in compression what we try to do is we try to reduce the size of the image, and when we decompress the image we are just trying to get the image into its original format. Okay, so f of x comma y is your original image, f cap x comma y is your the image that is achieved after the decoding. Okay, it is not your compressed image, understand this. Okay, so your revised output, your decompressed output is f cap x comma y, and then when you want to compare the accuracy of your compression decompression process, you will always compare f cap x comma y with f of x comma y. Okay, if both are same, means your compression was error free. Nothing has been lost in the compression and decompression process. And if your compression is lossy, that is you're losing out certain details in the entire process, then obviously f of x comma y and f cap x comma y will not match. Okay, now whenever we have an original image, we give it to the source encoder where the compression takes place, then it goes to the channel encoder. Then once the image is encoded, once the image is compressed rather, it can be transferred via a particular channel. Now that channel can be anything. It can be it can be an intranet in the organization, or it can be over the internet, or you can just store it also. Okay, now once it is received at another end, there's a channel decoder. Understand the sequence is different now. While encoding, the source encoder was first, channel encoder was second. But now while decoding, these things will reverse. First channel decoder is there and then source decoder is there. Okay, please make a note of it. Okay? Now, why do you think channel encoder and decoder are necessary? Channel encoder and decoder are necessary so that the channel cannot hamper the image in any way. So any noise or any error should not be introduced via the channel in your image. Okay, that is a very basic reason why we have channel encoder and channel decoder. Okay. If you know that you are having an error-free or noise-free channel, then between the encoder and decoder, then the channel encoder and decoder shall be removed. Okay. So now let us talk about source encoder and decoder. Now when I talk about source encoder and decoder, what are these source encoder and decoder going to do? So first of all, you have to understand that when you are compressing an image, what exactly are you reducing? You are trying to reduce the size of the image. But how can I reduce the size of the image? You have something called as redundancies in the image that we have already seen in the last session. So there are three types of redundancies that we studied last time. One was coding redundancy, second one was interpixel redundancy, the third one was psychovisual redundancy. So any channel encoder will try to reduce these three redundancies. Okay, because once these three redundancies are reduced, automatically the size of the image will reduce. So if you see the diagram, you will see that there is something which is called as mapper, there is something which is called as quantizer, and there is something which is called as symbol encoder. Each one of these blocks deals with a separate type of redundancy. Okay. Now corresponding to this, what we have is, we have source decoder. So the diagram below that you can see, this diagram is nothing but it is of source decoder. If you carefully notice, you don't have any decoder for the quantizer block. For symbol encoder, you have symbol decoder. For mapper, you have inverse mapper. But for quantizer, you don't have anything. So In quantizer, basically we are dealing with lossy compression. If you are applying quantizer while reducing the size of your image, while compressing the image, you cannot get back the original image as it is later on, because you are totally removing some information. Okay, so there's no reverse process for it. Mapper के लिए there's a inverse mapper, there's a reverse process. Symbol encoder के लिए there's a symbol decoder, there's a reverse process. But for quantizer, there's no reverse process. Whatever is deleted in the quantizer, that is deleted forever. Okay. Now mapper. Mapper deals with interpixel redundancies. Okay, it deals with interpixel redundancies. And whatever operation we are performing in the mapper, that is reversible. It just decreases the data that is needed to represent the image directly or indirectly. So it does not remove any details from the image. It does not delete any information. Okay? It just deals with interpixel redundancies, and it will just reduce the size of the image, but nowhere it will hamper the quality of the image as such. The operation is completely reversible. Okay. Now, what is the example of this? The example is run length coding. So run length coding, I'm going to explain it to you later on, so I'm not explaining the things to you right now. So we are actually going to see what are the different examples of mapper, what are the different examples of quantizer or symbol encoder and all those things. Okay. Now many a times you can represent an image as a set of coefficients, and then you can again convert those coefficients into the pixels. So again, all this process, it is reversible. So you can have a mapper, you can have an inverse mapper for it. Now, as I told you, the quantizer block, or the second step in your encoding process, it decreases the precision of the output. It will delete certain details in it. Are you getting it? But when I say that it will delete the details in it, that doesn't have to happen randomly, because you have to consider the fidelity criteria that is decided. What is fidelity criteria? We have already talked about. We want to ensure that the compressed image is not of bad quality. So आप सिर्फ साइज रिड्यूस करने के लिए डिटेल्स पे डिटेल्स हटाते नहीं जा सकते हो. You should take care of the quality and the whether the image is conveying the same information before and after compression also. So that is the fidelity criteria. Okay, we have already seen it, so I'm not talking about it much right now. So as I told you earlier only, कि the quantizer block will typically try and reduce the psychovisual redundancies of the image. And as I told you, it is an irreversible procedure, it is an irreversible operation. And if you are going to have a lossless compression, if you want to have a lossless compression, what is the meaning of lossless compression? Your f of x comma y and f cap x comma y should be exactly equal to each other. There should not be any change, or there should not be any difference. Okay. Lossy compression hai, then quantizer block can be there. Okay, rather it will be there. Now the third block that we had was symbol coder. ये क्या करता है? Fixed या variable length code generate करता है to constitute your quantizer output in the third and final phase of source encoding process. So symbol coder basically codes assign करता है. इस हिसाब से codes assign करता है कि now the image that you have, it should take minimum space in the storage. Okay. Now whenever you are assigning shortest words to the output that occurs most frequently, क्या हो जाता है? Space कम लगता है. एक word अगर 30-40 times आ रहा है और उसके लिए आप 8-bit नंबर यूज कर रहे हो. ओके, दूसरा वर्ड सिर्फ 4-5 बार आ रहा है, उसके लिए भी 8-bit नंबर यूज कर रहे हो. वेरिएबल लेंथ कोडिंग में क्या होता है? एक वर्ड जो बहुत बार आ रहा है, 30-40 टाइम्स आ रहा है, उसके लिए एक शॉर्टेस्ट कोड वर्ड यूज करो. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग 8 bits, you use only 2 bits. So instead of 8 into 40, now you will have 2 into 40. Space kam hua? That is the meaning of variable length code. Depending on the probability of occurrence of a particular pattern or particular word, the shortest code word is assigned to it. Okay, now obviously you are assigning code words, this operation is completely reversible. Okay, now once this is done, all the 3 redundancies have been taken care of, all the 3 operations have happened. Now we go to the decoder part. How is decoding done? Decoding is done in a reverse manner. Decoding is done in a reverse manner. See, while encoding, which was the last block? Symbol encoder. While decoding, which will be the first block? Symbol decoder. The output of symbol decoder will go to the inverse mapper. Inverse mapper is inverse operation for which block? The first block. What about the second block? What about the quantizer? We don't have anything for the quantizer in the decoding process because whatever happens at quantizer is permanent, cannot be reversed. Okay? So, you had your original image. It passed through a mapper, quantizer and symbol encoder. Through a channel, you are sending it to someone else. That someone else will have something which is called as source decoder. Source decoder has nothing but it has symbol decoder and inverse mapper exactly in this order only. And then what you get is you get a decompressed image. Now the next question is, every compression system will perform all these 3 operations? The answer is no. Depending upon the type of compression you are performing, many a times only 2 of the blocks will be there. Many a times all 3 blocks will be there. Obviously, if it is a lossless compression, then the quantizer block will not be there. Okay? So, this encoding and decoding process is just a complete representation. Depending on the type of encoding and decoding you are using, the presence of the blocks will differ. Okay, and decoder क्या होता है and decoder के components क्या होते हैं, that I have already explained you. This paragraph typically talks about the same thing. Okay, now let us talk about channel encoder and decoder. So why do we need a channel encoder and decoder? We need a channel encoder and decoder so that whenever my channel is noisy or it is susceptible to error, some noise can be added to my data or some error can be added to my data, then I need to be very conscious about being able to detect that noise, being able to detect that error, and not only detect it but correct it. So there are many ways of error detection and correction. You must have already studied those ways in computer networks. One of the ways is being discussed over here, and that is something that is called as Hamming code. So in Hamming code, basically what we do is, suppose we have a 4-bit binary number. Okay, so our data is 4-bit data. Then we create a 7-bit Hamming code. We create a 7-bit Hamming code. So how do we do that? See, 7-bit Hamming code from H1 to H7. Okay, you have 4-bit data. How do you assign it? You assign it like this. B0 goes to H7, B1 goes to H6, B2 goes to H5, B3 goes to H3. What about H1, H2 and H4? They are calculated like this. Okay, and the operation that is performed over here is nothing but exclusive OR operation. Okay, I hope everyone knows how exclusive OR operation is performed, so I am not explaining it to you over here. If in case you don't know, you can just look it up. Okay, just as you have AND OR operation, similarly you have a XOR operation. Now next, you got 7-bit Hamming code for your 4-bit data, correct? You send that across the network. Now receiver, what they will do? They will calculate C1, C2 and C4. Okay, how will they calculate C1, C2 and C4? They will calculate it using these formulas. Okay, now if any bit of C1, C2 and C4 after the calculation, if it is a non-zero value, then you will come to know that there is some kind of error. Okay, and you can correct that error also. Whatever is the value of that code word bit, whatever is the value, non-zero value that you are getting, exactly उस bit को आपको reverse करना है. So अगर non-zero value 5 आता है तो आप 5th bit को reverse करोगे. Okay, reverse करोगे मतलब क्या, binary data है ना, तो 1 है तो 0 कर दोगे, 0 है तो 1 कर दोगे. Okay, and these things they work with even parity also and they work with odd parity also. Even parity का मतलब क्या है? Number of bits with value 1 is even, then it is called as a even parity. Okay, now the decoded binary value is then removed as H3, H5, H6 and H7, and that is your original data. If you can remember, this is how we had assigned the data. So finally आपको आपका डेटा as it is मिल जाता है. अगर कुछ एरर है तो वो भी करेक्ट हो जाता है. Okay, now I have already explained this to you in short, but I'll again explain it to you. वेरिएबल लेंथ कोडिंग क्या होता है? यूजुअली हम लोग क्या करते हैं ना, हम लोग कहते हैं कि 8-bit नंबर है, 16-bit नंबर है, 32-bit नंबर है. We assign same length of codes to all our data. तो हम लोग यहाँ पे क्या करना चाहते हैं? We try to reduce the coding redundancy. So variable length coding is a means of reducing the coding redundancy. तो हम लोग क्या करते हैं? Variable length coding में क्या किया जाता है? Again we assign codes also, but we assign the shortest possible code to the most probable value. So as I told you, instead of having 8-bit into 40, now I will have 2-bit into 40. So 8 into 40 is how much? Anyone? 320? Yes. So instead of requiring 320 bits for storing that data, I will require only how many bits? 80 bits. So how many bits are less? 240 bits का space I have stored. Saved. You're getting my point? Got it? Got it? Yes or no? Any doubt? And then what we do कि जो ग्रे लेवल्स ज़्यादा प्रोबेबल नहीं है उनके लिए हम लोग बड़े कोड्स यूज कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज वो वैसे भी बार बार नहीं आने वाले. तो प्रैक्टिकली यू नो the amount of memory that you need to store an image with uniform length coding is much larger as compared to the amount of memory you need to store a variable length coding image. Okay, so that is variable length coding. We are also going to see how variable length coding is done next.